for the college anthem. Thank you, and kindly be seated. A very good morning once again. First of all, I extend a warm welcome to all the respected guest speakers who are contesting in the upcoming Lok Sabha election from 1 Shillong Parliamentary constituency. We have Shri Robert June Kharjarin of the Regional Democratic Alliance combining UDP and HSPDP. We have also Dr. Ricky A.J. Sinkan of the Voice of the People Party, Professor Lon Pakma, Independent, and also here in our midst we have Shri M. Kran representing the Bharatiya Janata Party and Shri Manuel Badwar of the Congress Party. I also welcome the moderator of the symposium, Dr. S. Maxwell Lingdaw, our principal, the president, and all the members of the governing body of the college present here today, special invitees, students, and teachers of different colleges and universities, and also students and faculty members of Sankardev College. So moving forward with the program, I invite our dear principal, Dr. Eureka F.P. Lingdaw, to kindly felicitate all the guest speakers. Thank you, Madam. Once again, I request you to kindly escort all the guest speakers to the dais. Okay, and now I call upon our principal, Dr. Eureka F. Lingdo, to give the welcome address.
A very good morning to one and all. Respected Chairperson, Mrs. E.M. Taryang, distinguished guest speakers on the dais, distinguished invitees, teachers and students, at the very outset, on behalf of the institution, I rise to accord a very warm welcome to our distinguished speakers who are also the contesting candidates for the Shillong Parliamentary constituency. I welcome our invitees, teachers and students of different colleges and universities, faculty members and students of the college, and a representative of the electronic and print media. I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Ricky A.J. Sinkan of the Voice of the People Party, Shri Robert June Kharjarin, a candidate from the RDA, Professor Lon Pakma, the independent candidate, Shri M. Kharkrang, retired IPS and spokesperson of the BJP, Shri Manuel Badwar, Secretary of the Meghalaya Pradesh Congress Committee. Thank you so much for your valued presence and participation in this symposium. Despite your many engagements and commitments with constraints of time, you have made time to be with us and address this distinguished gathering. The audience and all present here will have so much to learn from your deliberation, insight, wisdom, and especially your involvement in social services. We recognize your commitment and enduring service to the people at large. With your years of experience through distinguished professions and personal engagements, the achievements and contributions made, I am sure that we will be so much benefited from your discourses, as well as be sensitized and enlightened on the various policies you stand for and of the parties you represent. I also extend a warm welcome to your party colleagues present here. I also accord a warm welcome to Dr. S. Maxwell Lingdor, who will be moderating the symposium. I welcomed our president and members of the governing body of Sankardev College. I extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished invitees, Madam P. Mukhim, Dr. Fenela. I may not be able to name them all. The faculty members of different colleges who are present here, along with their respective students, I welcome you to this symposium. And I must say that we are all privileged to have this opportunity to hear firsthand from our leaders, and more importantly, to learn from them. We will also be having an interaction session, and I request you to take part and express your opinions and ideas. I welcome all the faculty members and students of our institution, and also all the organizers of this symposium, the members of the Department of Political Science, as well as the members of the IQAC. I also welcome the members of the media, both print and electronic, through whose channels and papers the readership and viewership audience will be informed of this very important and significant event. Thank you all for your participation in this symposium, and our best wishes to each and every one of you. I also extend our best wishes to all our leaders here. Respected sirs, we understand that you represent different political ideologies, have your own party manifestos, but we also acknowledge the fact that the spirit to serve the people and the state is the same. The commitment and dedication to the cause of public welfare is unparalleled. The vision may have different perspectives, but the sincerity to it is surely grounded on strong foundation. The elections will be held in a month from now, and we will soon be witnessing many campaigns and political activities, rallies, meetings, house-to-house visits, debates, and all the complexities of an electoral competition. We wish each one of you the very best. And our institution will always be open to you in the future for more programs that will address the general good of the community at large. We are always open to learn from you, as we also play our humble role as educators. Once again, a warm welcome to each and everyone present here. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam, for your welcome address. Next, I invite upon Mr. Manbor Singh Wajri, IQAC coordinator of the college, to enlighten us about the symposium on parliamentary politics and political participation.
A very good morning to all present here, our distinguished dignitaries on the dais, special invitees, friends and well-wishers, teachers, faculty members of different colleges and universities, students of different colleges and universities who are present here, students and faculty of Sankardev College, and our representatives from the media. At the very outset, on behalf of the Department of Political Science, the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of the college, and on behalf of the institution as a whole, I express our sincerest gratitude to our esteemed speakers, the parliamentary candidates of Shillong Lok Sabha parliamentary constituency, and the representatives of the other parliamentary candidates not present here. Thank you so much for your time. We understand that you have hectic schedule, busy engagements, but we acknowledge with our deepest gratitude your consent to be here, and thank you so much for honoring our invitation and our intent in holding this symposium. Your gracious presence here has indeed made this program fruitful, far-fetching, meaningful, and successful. We are gathered here to listen to your valuable insight, wisdom, ideas, and to understand further on the political narratives of the country and the state, the issues before us, the polity of the day, according to your respective perspectives, and also to be enlightened and to understand more on the different ideologies that you represent. Thank you so much. We are deeply grateful, and we look forward to a meaningful engagement and learning from your discourses. At the same time, I also take this opportunity to exhort upon, to urge upon, to request all those present here and through the media that on the polling day, you must go and exercise your vote. Every vote matters. Make your choice, vote conscientiously. Vote, exercise your vote, and practice this freedom and this expression that we have. My dear friends, the leaders present here today have so much experience with them. They have contributed much to the state and the society through their different professions. And we stand here and acknowledge our highest regard and our deepest respect and admiration for them. Yes, in another month's time, we will be understanding of the day of polling, the road ahead. But nonetheless, we have our deepest gratitude, and we extend our best wishes to all of you and to the representatives of the other political parties. In closing, I am indeed very humbled to stand here in your midst, in your presence, and on behalf of the institution and all present here, we wish you all the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for giving us an insightful explanation. So now, without any further delay, we have come to the most important part of the program, and that is to kickstart with the speeches, debates, deliberations, and interactions that we all have been waiting for. To moderate this symposium, I shall now hand over the remaining time to Dr. S. Maxwell Lingdor. Dr. S. Maxwell Lingdor is a counselor and career expert, and also member District Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, East Khasi Hills, Government of Meghalaya, Shillong. I welcome you, Sir Maxwell Lingdor.
Good morning. Good morning. Louder one, please. Good morning. Thank you. As part of the provision of Article 79 of the Indian Constitution, the House of the People, the Lok Sabha, is the lower house of the Parliament. Lok Sabha is composed of representatives of the people chosen by direct election on the basis of adult suffrage. Currently, the maximum strength of the House envisaged by the Constitution is 552. The broad responsibilities of the members of Parliament entail the following. Number one, legislative responsibility, passing laws of India in the Lok Sabha. Number two, oversight responsibility, ensuring that the executive, that is the government, performs its duties efficiently. Number three, representative responsibility, representing the people's views and aspirations of their constituencies in the Parliament of India. And lastly, power of purse responsibility, approving and overseeing government-proposed revenues and expenditures. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Symposium on Parliamentary Politics and Political Participation, organized by the Department of Political Science and the IQAC Sankardev College, Shillong. Here with us, we have candidates who will be contesting the Lok Sabha elections from the one Shillong parliamentary constituency, which is scheduled exactly a month from tomorrow, that is on April 19, 2024. Representing the Voice of the People's Party, we have Dr. A.J. Sinkon. A big round of applause for sir, please. From the RDA is Robert June Karjarin. Welcome, sir. From the Indian National Congress, we have its representative, Shri Manuel Badwar. Welcome, sir. We also have Dr. Lon Pakma, who is an independent candidate. Welcome, sir. And lastly, we have the representative of the Bharatiya Janata Party, who is Shri Mariahom Kran. Welcome, sir. Forming a major portion of our electorates are our youth. Today's youth are curious. They want to know, to learn, and to participate. And like the previous speakers have mentioned, today's program is primarily organized with one objective in mind, and that is to provide college and university students an opportunity to listen and to learn from the esteemed speakers on the issues of the day, to be informed and to be educated about the ideologies that these various candidates and parties represent. A few things to keep in mind. To ensure that fair chances are given to the speakers, we will have a draw of lots, and whosever name I pick up will address the gathering by turn. Each candidate will be given 10 minutes each. In order to save time, we will open the floor for questions after all the candidates have addressed the gathering. So let us start today's program right away, and let me pick up the first name. we have the first speaker, that is serial number 2, which is Dr. Ampreen. She's not amongst us. I'll pick the second name. Serial number 5, we have Dr. Lon Pakma. Dr. Lon joined the Northeastern Hill University in 2002 and is currently serving as professor. As an independent candidate, he introduced himself as someone who wants to adopt a zero-tolerance policy on corruption and corrupt practices as a way of public life. Over to you, sir.
Well, a very good morning to all of you. I think we are still morning, perfectly okay. Well, I think, first of all, thank you, Madam Principal, who have really taken this trouble to invite us in this gathering. And of course, we have the candidates and their representative. I will not name them individually. I think you have already seen their name and of course has been welcome. And of course, dignitaries here in the front or second row. And then of course, faculty members of this college. Some of them are my batchmate and some of them are seniors. It gives me a great pleasure to be here simply because it feels like classroom. Back to seeing students here who are really, the future of our state and of course the country as a whole. I have only 10 minutes. Generally, I tend to go at least 1.5 hours in one shot. But I think as a teacher, I think we also have to be mindful of the fact that time is also of an essence. Well, I stand here as fumbled by a little bit by the moderator with due regards to him. Every now and then I get the prefix Pa in front of my surname. So I end up becoming Pakma from Kma. So let's set the record straight. I'm Professor Lon Pakma. It is Kma, and Pakma has nothing to do with Kma per se, although they sound very similar. Well, like I said, I'm an independent candidate, and this decision I took very, very consciously. Simply because, because it's 10 minutes, so I'll not go into the detail of what I'm going to do if you choose me as your MP whenever the election is held. However, it was my conscious decision to stand as an independent candidate because, yes, with due respect to the views and ideologies which is upheld by the candidates and their representatives representing various parties, I have a slightly different view on a lot of things. And somehow I don't, with due respect, I don't subscribe to any of those ideologies per se. With due regards, of course, they will substantiate why they stand for their own ideology. Well, I will put up 2 parts that what an MP is supposed to do. First thing first, almost I would say, 2/3 or more, a job of an MP is outside the state. And that's where it is important for all of you to see your candidate because, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter from which party a candidate stands. Simply because these 7 districts that we have sends only 1 MP to the Lok Sabha. It really doesn't matter, especially if you are from a bigger party and you don't speak at all in the parliament, which we have seen with due respect to my current MP, who is also a good friend. If you don't speak, you are as good as being an independent. And then, of course, any of us from any parties who are here, if you elect us, I think we are independent. More so, it is important because I'm already independent here. I don't stand alone. I stand alone, and you must have seen my video in my YouTube channel at the rate Lon Pakma. I have been speaking because you need to listen to me. I am the candidate. I am the one you are sending crossing the border of Meghalaya. Once I'm outside Meghalaya, I'm alone. And that's what I said. When I decided to stand as an independent candidate, it was my conscious decision that I need to stand here. If I am not independent here in my own state, in my own comfort zone, leave aside when I cross the border of Meghalaya, I will be able to stand alone. And inside the parliament, and that's where it is the most important part of the game, inside the parliament alone, one MP from this 7 district will be standing to echo the voice of the people of these 7 districts. Yes, Garo Hills is equally important, but they have their own MP to address their issue inside the parliament. But for these 7 districts, you have only one guy. Why not send the best person? Because he or she will be independent anyway, irrespective of from which party they belong. And that's why. And that is very interesting simply because it is nothing unique. So far, we have been sending 16 MPs, out of which 6 times it was independent MP. First, second and third MP from Meghalaya was an independent candidate. The second one, of course, in the year 1957 and 62, Hoover Henyota, he was independent. He defeated Congress and regional parties. In 67 and 72, Professor G.G. Swell was independent candidate, defeating the Congress and the regional party. He again came back 4 times, 84, after 67, 72, 84, and 96. He won as an independent candidate. This is important. Why I have to stress, because I do see in social media, people asking me that, all sort of query, as if some candidates are dependent on my standing as a candidate to win or lose the election, which is totally absurd. Because I think we have to give due regard to all the candidates, because each one is trying his or her best to win your votes through their vision that we have. My vision that I have is 15, 20 years down the line, when we grow, because this is important for all the youngsters here who are looking for a job. There is no job in the state. I'm worried because I have a young daughter who have just finished her class 10 and she'll be doing and one is finishing tomorrow class 12, and I have a son who is class 9. Now we don't have jobs who are passing out from our colleges in the state of Meghalaya. The one who is passing out from master degree from the university, getting my own PhD scholars who has got their PhD degree are not gainfully employed. I'm worried. If I was not worried, I will not get into this fray. The whole idea why I came is I have almost lost all my faith in the system, but I still have little bit, maybe 5%, 10% that we may be able to revive. We have to revive, because this state, if you don't wake up now, and that's what I said, this is the time when we decide that we are going to build a new Meghalaya. I am not here only to fight MP election. This is just a starting point, and I have said this again and again. My winning and losing really has no consequence vis-a-vis my standing for the cause that I'm looking for, that down the lines, 15, 20 years, all of us, our villages, all of us are gainfully employed. We have the best of the infrastructure, and that's where it is important. And in current times, of course, one other aspect that is worrying me is, I look around this current dispensation at the center and also in the state, there seems to be least bother for smaller groups of people living in the hill state. They seems to be imposing all sort of things, and I feel that when they come back again to power in this 2024 election, I don't know what kind of change they're going to bring. And this is where you need to send somebody who can stand in front of Prime Minister, Home Minister, and Finance Minister and say that don't play around with our constitution. Because as long as you respect the constitution, we are one nation. The day you try to trigger around the constitution, the whole fundamental structure of the constitution, because I do see that secularism is at stake. Secularism is at stake in the current dispensation. I see, because as a faculty of the university, I see what kind of people are being sent to the university. It's the same mindset that is going to seep in everywhere, and I'm concerned, deeply, deeply concerned that you need to send somebody who can stand in the floor of parliament alone and tell this current dispensation, please don't play around with the Constitution of India, because this Constitution binds us as one country. The day you tickle around and play around with the Constitution, I'm telling you, this country is going to break into pieces. And that's why they were ever dare to touch the secular fabric of, because we have seen months and months has gone by. Since 2014, I do see that a particular dispensation, a particular ideology is being propagated to an extent that I'm really fed up to here. And that's where I think it is important that we make sure that when we reach Parliament, and if you choose me as a candidate, as your MP, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not there to, if I was looking for comfort thing, I don't have to be in the Parliament. I'm much more comfortable in Nehu. The point that I have chosen to stand was because I don't see any ray of hope that somebody can raise our voice, because we have seen people are all compromised in their own ways, whether in the state or in the center. You need a voice in the Parliament to say that this is what is the voice of the people of Meghalaya. This is the voice of the 7th district that we have, that we will express our concern. I don't understand why we are still backward to the highest order. We will be second or third from the last in any index of development. What is the reason? Such a tiny state. You start from Guwahati, go to Dauki, maybe 3.5, 4 hours, you will complete the breadth. Go from Jaintia Hills to, say, western side of our state, maybe 5, 6 hours. A state like UP, where 2 days you have to travel by train only to cross this border, they are much more developed. Simply because I have already adopted a zero tolerance policy on corruption and corrupt practices, simply because I believe that if we don't practice clean politics, and I'm not here, I'm always said this, I'm a teacher first. What I say is echoed here and you will be recording it. I stand here and whatever I'm saying, I stand by it. And you will see that my wife is also present here and she's, of course, all the time in my campaign, not just to add beauty to my campaign, but it's also important that she listens to what I say. Tomorrow, if I become rogue, you elect me and I become rogue, you can make her accountable because she is witness to whatever promise I have made. And I stand here with a firm commitment that I am not here to earn money. I have done enough for myself. Time has come that I give back to the state. And I believe that if you elect me as your MP, I will be the one raising your concern that why we are backward, why there is so much of corruption, why there is no development in the last 52 years, how long we will wait? And this is the question I ask myself. If it was possible for me to wait, I would have waited 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We are already late vis-a-vis the developmental front is concerned. And hence, it is important that right now I can't even wait for a day to stand and make my voice clear to everyone that I'm here to bring a ray of hope. Not because I am somebody who has been exposed to all sorts of things. I have done my schooling entirely outside the state, from Arunachal Pradesh, right from class KG till class 12. I stayed in US almost for 18 months. I have visited Rome, I have visited Frankfurt, Zurich, and so on and so forth. I have seen how development is broad. You stay in US, you don't know from where, I think Ambassador will agree with me, you don't know from where gas is coming. You don't know from water is coming. You don't know where your water is going in the drain. Drain is not visible to you. I stayed in medical college, near the Medical College of Wisconsin, which is 2 hours drive from Chicago.
Dr. Pakma,
So,
kindly conclude.
yeah, I will just stop. So, there, 8 months, there is snowfall. Not a single day light went off. This is what we are 100 years behind as a country. We as Meghalaya are 200 years behind the US. And to change this narrative, I have come into fray. I would look forward to your support. And I need your support not because I want to become an MP. I think my salary is probably better than an MP salary as a professor of university. It has to be made very clear. I'm not here to earn a living. I'm here to contribute. And my friend, I stand here as a candidate who will raise the concern. And I'm not afraid. I have lived with people from outside this state all my life. I know what the psyche is. I know how to tackle people in Delhi. I know how I will raise my voice, because come what may, I don't ban. I may die fighting a cause. I will not ban. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pakma. The few points that Sir has stressed is one needs to be a good speaker and voice for the voiceless. One needs to represent a state in the parliament and express their concerns. So I think any MP, like all others, is expected to really go out there and represent us and speak on our behalf. Thank you so much, sir, for your points. We will now go on to the next. I will pick up the second name. We have serial number 3, which is Dr. Ricky A.J. Singkon. Dr. Ricky A.J. Sinkhon joined the Northeastern Hill University in 2002 and is serving the university as assistant professor. He contested the MLA elections in 2023 from Umsning. Over to you, sir.
A very good morning to each one of you. Due to the constraint of time, I will straight away share with you the thoughts that I have and share what the party, the voice of the people, has for the state. Well, my presentation would be divided into different parts. Let me begin with the first part, which is about myself. I would start off a brief testimony of myself. I've been a teacher for the last 28 years, and I'll continue to be so. And also a servant of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who has been my hope, and I'm sure the principles that He has laid down for my life can also be applied even to a nation. I've never been involved in politics, tell you. As a citizen of this great nation, I would simply go and exercise my right as a citizen to vote on the day of the election, vote for a person or vote for a political party. But then I believe that in life, there is always the push and the pull factors in life. And the condition of the state of ours, I've lived my life, 52 years along with the state, just 15 days elder to the state. So I've seen how our state has grown or not grown over the years. The condition of the state of ours has been one of the reasons that has pushed me to come into electoral politics. And there is a pull factor, which I'm glad that in our state we have a leader, our President, Parliamemtary Badwar, whom we've been friends for quite a long time, and I've seen in this person who really understand the need of the hour, that is the politics that we are talking today, that our party has been professing, and he has been professing right from 2010 about the need for clean politics. And it is this that has also been the reason to pull me to this ideology. The second part, what do we have as a state? When we look at our state, I believe you all agree with me that our state is endowed with, with vast and rich resources. You talk about natural resources, talk about mineral resources, you talk about water resources, and you talk about the human resources. Indeed, there's none like our state, I would say. After traveling, after seeing different places within India and few countries outside of India, I would say that God has really indeed blessed our state. But then, where are we after 50 years, 52 years? When we look at the reports that have been coming from different agencies, which speaks about the condition of our state, it's really, really sad and very depressing, looking at the condition of our state. We are the poorest state. We talk about education, where we were so proud of, our state, especially Shillong, which was once upon a time the capital the educational capital of this part of India. But where are we now? We are at the bottom. Talk of governance, we are right down the bottom. Talk about health care, health services, we are also at the bottom. Talking about cleanliness, we are so proud that, our society, we talk about cleanliness, where we only do it once, maybe in a year. and the same person who cleans in the morning, the same person would be the reason for the dirt and the filth that is around us. And when we look at food security, 81% of our people, they are in the primary sector. But sad to say, report says that we are second from the bottom when it comes to food security. This is as per the National Food Security Act. Furthermore, when we talk about our society, it's really sad. 41% of a household in this state, they are female-headed household, and 42% of our population live in those households. And you can imagine the condition of those kind of household where the woman has to take the responsibility of managing the entire household. Indeed, and no wonder we are a state where the poverty is really sad. Education, we are so poor. Dropout rate is always on the rise. So these are the picture of our state after 52 years. But as a party, we do have few solutions to offer. Talking about human capital, which we have such a vast potential of human resource, where the report says that around 65% of the population in our state, they are the youth. So we cannot handle this rich and resource if we are not able to mold this resource, to channelize this resource. Our future is really at stake, because this resource can make or break the future of our state. So as a party, we are really concerned with the youth of the state, and that is why we would like to take up issues where we would like to engage with the government to ensure that the central education institutions, they also cater to the needs of our people in terms of, for example, seats for learning, employment, and even the courses of study. And when we look also at what is happening around the world, especially when we look at what is going on, especially in the eastern part of the world, Southeast Asia, East Asia, you will find this part of the world is going through a difficult time in the days to come. Why I'm saying this is because there's this, the working population is, under decline, and therefore we see as a party that there is a scope for our youth. We can always export human resource, but to do so, we say as a party that we should prepare our youth, with some of the soft skills, where we know that as a society, we are known for our hospitality, and together with the soft skills that, we can provide through the various institutions that we have in our state, both the central, the state, and some private institutions, I'm sure we can prepare our youth to move out of the nation. That is what we see. And talking about health, we seriously need to improve the Human Development Index in our state, which is really pathetic. And in the light of this, what we see as a party is that we know that the traditional health practices is one where we can really also, look to. Why? Because it has been known, looking at some of the statistics, around 170 countries in the world have also looked at the traditional medical practices or the traditional medical knowledge as an alternative. And in our state, we do have many, such practitioners all over the state. And we believe that when we also talk about sustainable development, we believe that if we promote these people, we can also ensure protection of our forests. That is where they get all the requirements for different kinds of, to treat different kind of ailment. So that is on the health. Then we also see that as a party, we've seen, the reason why our state is really going down. And we see that, the work culture and work ethics is an issue which we seriously need to think. Where we cannot talk of productivity, we cannot talk of, rising up, climbing up the ladder, if we continue with the present work culture, work ethics. So this is where we would want, we would like to take the lead in this and to share to people and to encourage people, encourage the youth, encourage each one of us, and to also let the people know about the dignity of labor, where it is very important. Doesn't matter which job you're holding, but we believe as a party that what is important is whatever job, no matter, to respect the job, to do it with all sincerity, hard work, and with dedication. And this is another issue which we see that we can, we will take the state forward. And our state, which is where tourism has so much of potential. But what we also see is that along with tourism, it is important for, to develop for example, the Shillong airport. For 40 years, we are seeing this airport. By now, actually, it should have been an international airport. This is what we would like to see. This is really serious, where there's no state, no country which talks about tourism, but then
Dr. Ricky, kindly conclude.
Airport, okay, yeah. So, and then, well, there are many, but just before I take my seat, I brought here, in this bag, something which, as a party, we would really love to see, with so much of potential that we have. We, as a party, we would like to see innovation in our state. But there's so much that we can do. This is a box, Meghalaya in a box, where we have all the products that, from the states. You talk about ginger, you talk about cinnamon, you talk about black pepper, and so on and so forth. These, if processed and packed neatly and presented to the world, I'm sure this will really boost the agricultural sector and also boost the rural economy, and can also take care of the unemployment that we are talking about. Employment is there, opportunities is there, it's just that we need to see. And so as a party, this is what we present to you. And finally, our party has a vision, and that vision is to revive, to restore, and transform Meghalaya through the principle of clean politics. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Just to sum up some of Ricky's point, Ricky said he's fresh to politics, but due to his concern for the state and the youth, he's entered active politics. He did mention that the state is very rich in its resources, but when we look at the governance, the health, the food security, education, dropouts, and other things like tourism, avenues like tourism, these are really at a very disturbing stage. And what Pariki has mentioned is, to tackle unemployment. That's the core issue that we at the state, we require to look at and address. Thank you, sir, for putting forward the issues that your party is intending to tackle when you come to, should you be selected. Thank you so much. I will now pick the next name. This is serial number 1, Shri Vincent Pala. But since Sir is not present, we have Shri Manuel Badwar, who will be representing on his behalf. Shri Manuel Badwar contested the MLA elections from the 16 East Shillong last year, and we hand over the time to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Maxwell. A very good afternoon to all. I'll not take much time to give my gratitude to everybody, but I give my gratitude to the college, especially for inviting us today. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for various parties to come and represent and talk about the various things that are important, especially for the young generation. I'll start my speech, or whatever you say, by a poem. It's written by this person called Martin Niemöller, a German. It was a post-war poem, very simple. It says that first they came for the communists and I didn't speak out because I was not a communist. Then they went for the socialists. I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist. Again, I didn't speak out because I was not a trade union. They went for the Jews. I didn't speak out. I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for me, but then there's nobody else to speak for me. It's a very important, it's in fact in a museum in New York, in the Holocaust Museum, it carries a whole lot of weight. And it's important when I say this, it's because not just in India alone, but the world over, fanaticism is taking shape and things is moving towards that. And it's extremely important, especially when you live in a secular country like ours, where atrocities can be created very easily, especially when it's a republic, which is guided by the rule of the land rather than the democratic process as such. And for especially political science students, they would understand that very much. It is important because the hatred is being propagated. It is important because in today's world, we point fingers whether you're a Muslim or you're a Hindu. We point fingers whether you're a Meitei or you're a Kuki. We've started pointing fingers whether you're a Khasi or you're a Garo. And that movement is trickling down to each and every part of our society, which is extremely bad. And I believe that it is very, very critical for us to come to an understanding that these kind of divisive powers has to be stopped. If you listen to what Professor Kamar had mentioned earlier, that even in Nehu, there had been efforts made to bring that divisive thing. There's another department which is Science and Technology Center. They're trying to ensure that people come to work on a Sunday as well, without respecting certain parts of certain things of what we inculcate as a society. Anyway, but that keeping aside, I'd like to express to you what the Congress wants to talk about, at least in this election that is coming this time. What is important is that we should understand that India has already reached a $3 trillion economy and is definitely poised to become the second largest in another 5 to 10 years. See, the growth trajectory of any economy is simple. As long as you have a large market, which is the biggest, of course, this country, you have a productive workforce, and you have certain policies that will direct towards that, the economy will grow. And it's like a snowball effect. Once the economy grows, it keeps on growing. You don't have to worry much about it. But the trajectory in which it is growing is most important. After 10, 15 years of liberalization, or 20 years of liberalization, you would notice that each economy that liberalizes itself starts growing at a trajectory which is far, far stronger. China took only 15 years to reach 8 trillion, 9 trillion. So India itself is growing. What I'm trying to pinpoint here is that at the end of the day, each and every Indian will become better off than he was 10 years back. Now, the point is, how do we ensure that whatever growth is happening in the country reaches to the grassroots level, the bottom of the pyramid, so-called? What I fear most is that the bottom of the pyramid is not benefiting from the economic growth. Do you know that in the Global Hunger Index, India is ranked 111 as of today? And it's not improving. It is not improving because of various things. Because of the fact that economic development has not reached that level. So economic development, the way I see it, at least as far as the government is concerned, the current government is concerned, is that it is not reaching out to the people that need it. It reaches out only to the top echelons of our society. And that is important for us to understand. So what I'm saying is that Congress has come with these 5 promises. And these are important promises. It's not made by me or made by the Congress party alone. We had these meetings across the country. In fact, even in Shillong, we had a meeting with some concerned citizens who had participated along and come. It was a heated meeting, there's no denying about that, but at least the points that came out were strong. And believe it or not, I'll tell you that a few points were taken even from there. I'll give you one example, especially which is relevant, and this is a promise in which the Congress is making this time, saying that the economic development is happening, but at the same time, it should benefit. You know, I'll tell you that in Meghalaya itself, most of the students, especially when you graduate from your college, when you start searching for jobs, you will be underpaid. Believe it or not, I'm telling you this. Most of the corporations and the business houses would like to pay you peanuts and treat you like monkeys. I'm sorry to use that unparliamentary language. The point is, why? We are trying to tell you that when you graduate, for the first year itself, you will we will enact a law to ensure that at least for the first year as an apprentice, you will be paid 8,500 rupees per month. What happens is that each and every employer will be mandated to pay. So it will help each and every graduate to at least get a safe salary within the first year of working itself. So that by the time you approach your second year, you will not be underpaid. And that is very, very critical. I'm telling you, as students, when you start joining the workforce, you will understand the value of what this is. And this is important because I think it's not just our political party, but many parties should start looking at this, especially for a state like ours, which is so critical. And people are underpaid. That is one of the promises in which the Congress is saying. And believe it or not, this just didn't come out of thin air. This came out because we had discussions with a lot of people. We had discussions with Nehru Students' Union. We had discussions with students all over the place. And for which we came to an understanding that, yes, this is important. The second, especially the gig workers, the so-called unorganized sector. When you, again, especially young students, when you go to the corporate or you start working in real life, you'll understand what is the difference between an organized and an unorganized sector. An unorganized sector is a sector in which there's no regulation, where people can hire you at whatever rate they want to, and people can fire you anytime they want to, which is highly prevalent in this part of this country. You will notice even Negrams nowadays don't want to recruit people anymore. They want to go through an agency. The agency is because under his name, they will recruit you. The agency is taking full credit that I have given job, but at the end of the day, it's Negrams who's given job. But it's going through the unorganized sector where Negrams does not have to treat you like an organized sector individual. So they can hire and fire you anytime. We want to stop that. And I think it's very critical for us to stop that. I think that is one of the other promises in which the Congress party is trying to make this time. The other thing is, especially daily wage laborers, highly critical. Our economy is run only on daily wage laborers, especially in Shillong and Meghalaya. Do you know what we're saying? That there should be a social security system in place, a very robust one at that, to ensure that such people are not left in the lurch when difficulty comes in their houses. They should be given some insurance, and that also a very good insurance plan. It could be health insurance, it could be life insurance, at least a coverage of nothing less than 10 lakhs. It has started, and there's a pilot being done right now in a state called Telangana. And believe it or not, I believe that such an insurance plan, especially for the gig workers or the daily wage laborers, is highly critical. The other promises in which the party is making is saying that secure employment is also extremely important, especially the contractualization of work when it comes to government jobs. You see, we are a state in which there are 37, 38 lakhs population. But if you look at the government jobs, the count of government jobs here, hardly 1.5. You look at Sikkim. Sikkim is a 9-8 lakhs population, but the count of government jobs is in excess of 2 lakhs. So the percentage of government jobs that are available, if the state mechanism would have functioned much better than it is, rather than all the loot that is happening, there's an ample opportunity to create even better jobs in the government. And effective jobs, I might say. So that is another thing, I think, at least from the Congress perspective, we are looking at it in a very, very serious way and have given it one of the promises. The fifth promise that I'd like to talk about is also what we call as this, the plan, especially for entrepreneurs. So we have entrepreneurs at every level. What we've been seeing, and as I said earlier, that the Indian economy is only growing, but growing only to the top echelons. We want to change that. We want to change that economic
Manuel,
development to come to the lower section. And for which the corpus of funds in which we have already seen that it's being done by the various governments, but we'd like to reach out even more. More towards the rural belt, more towards the people who are actually in need, and not just the fluff which is on top. We will not obviously just run schemes on wine making, which we obviously know that wine making is being made by only the privileged lot of a society, but we'll do other things which is more important. Maybe we'll be able to reach out. And these are the only 5 promises. Maybe we'll discuss a little bit more, and thank you very much for the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Sri Manuel Badwar from the Indian National Congress. Badwar has stressed at large about the importance of economic development reaching the grassroots level. And he stressed about looking at economic development very seriously. And he also stressed about the 5 points that his party has come up with. Number 1, the youth being underpaid. Number 2, they want to look at the unorganized sector. Number 3, they want to look at the concerns of the daily wage laborers. Number 4, to look at secure employment of the youth. And lastly, to strengthen entrepreneurship. Thank you so much, sir. I will now go on to the next speaker. We have just 2 more speakers. We have serial number 4. That is Sri Robert June Karjarin. Sri Robert June Karjarin is former president of the Hinyo Youth Council, and he will represent the Regional Democratic Party, which is a combination of 2 regional parties, that is the United Democratic Party and Hill State People's Democratic Party. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you all. First and foremost, I would like to express my thankful and gratitude to the Almighty. It was my Almighty who guided me, who led me through all my life, and I'm here today because of His blessing. I would like to express my thankful to Sankardev College for this meaningful discussion, and through this discussion, at least the people of Shillongman parliamentary seat now it make the people of Shillong parliamentary seat easy to choose from 6 now scaled down to 3. I think you will agree with me on this point. One will be delegated, which will be not allowed in the parliament. One will be absent, and the others will be late. They are always late in implementing ILP, late in inclusion the Khasi language in the 8th schedule, late in settlement the boundary dispute, and let's hope that they will be late to change the circular from the Constitution of India like forever. I would like to express my alliance promises based on 3 principles. Our principle will start to protect the interests of the indigenous people and the residents of the state. We start to preserve and conserve the identity, the cultures in the state, and thirdly, to promote the welfare of the state for the benefit of the people watching online. I would like to express this in few words in Khasi. Ngiyeng nam ta banyada ya karibak bajat nru bad ya kajala. Ngiyeng ya kaban penek pensa ya kariti ka dustur bad ya snap ka bekerpang jong kajala. Bad kumju ru ban kentiu ya kajala hakiliang baro. My dear friends, I always believe that leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. How we as RDA vision to translate these 3 pillars, the triple P, to protect, to preserve and to promote into reality is fast and all. We need to protect ourselves, and that's why we would like to guarantee you that if you choose RDA, we will ensure to impress upon the government to firstly implement inner line permit in the state of Meghalaya. We will ensure protection of secularism in the rest of India. We stood for secularism, and we stood that the right to worship is a fundamental right of each and every individual, and that will remain in India. We will not allow anybody to try to infringe into this right, and we will give our best to ensure that the people in India have the secular concept to worship in whichever God they like, in whichever manner they like, and in whichever day they want to worship their own Almighty. We will also pursue with the government of India to speedily inclusion of Khasi language into the 8th schedule, settlement of boundary dispute between Meghalaya and Assam, and also to review the settlement already settled in the first phase, and also to once again review the settlement of boundary between India and Bangladesh is also our guarantee to the protection of our own cultures, of our own right and privilege. My dear friends, we also have a promise to preserve and conserve the identity and the cultures that we as the indigenous people and the residents of the state are very much value it. How do we do it? We make sure that we strengthen 6th schedule. We disagree with the individual and party views that they want to do it away with the 6th schedule. As the people, we strongly believe that we need to strengthen the 6th schedule. We strongly believe that if we strengthen the 6th schedule, especially by review para 12 AAA, and also to ensure that the Council have a similar legislative powers in the light of Article 200 of the Constitution of India is our guarantee. We will also ensure that direct funding into the local authority like the Dorbar Snong and all will be addressed if you elected us elected us as MP in this election. My dear friends, I don't know how much time will I have left, but the other issue that we would like to see, that how did we promote our own state? We would like to see an inclusive development. And since we have this meeting in the college, I would like to tell you what is our vision when it comes to employment. Unemployment and underemployment are issue which is very critical in the state of Meghalaya. We would like to promise you that in order to bring employment in public sector, there is an OM, office memorandum, which guaranteed that 44% of the ST in central government institution in group D and C need to be implemented in letter and spirit. It is very sad to see even after this OM is already been issued, the central government institute has not respected this OM. We will ensure that this OM is implemented in letter and spirit. We do feel that in order to bring employment to the state, introduction of special scheme like soft loan, grant, subsidy, interest-free loan to start up, to guide, to help the youth to start up their business is very important. Setting up of a special economic zone with special preference to the indigenous people is very important, because I saw so many youth, they do have a talent, they do have a skill, they completed the degree, but they don't have much of capital to invest. Having a special economic zone is very important to allow our youth and to help our youth in starting of the business, and this will go a long way toward providing jobs and employment into our state. And we will also need to see that in contractual jobs, especially in group C and D, there is a need for 100% reservation to the local people of the state. This will also help us in others to ensure that the people get employment. The other's vision that we have is to make sure that the farmers and the laborers get the dignified life. The farmers, they have spent the entire day ensuring that the country get the food to eat. What did we do at the end of the day? We are very happy to buy it at a lesser price. The absence of minimum support price to agricultural products and also to minor forest product has put our problem in a difficulty. You see in this few days, the broomstick, the price of broomstick is very less. The price of butternut also is very less. The price of gingers also is very less. I do feel that with market intervention scheme and with minimum support price, this will help our farmer to get a meaningful and a just price to what they have already spent their energy in ensuring that we have a food to eat. Soft loan and interest-free loan to farmers is very important, because without this, the farmers will not be able to increase their agricultural activity. So we feel that this is very important. Setting up of an agro-based industry in the state will go a long way toward ensuring that our people and our farmers get a meaningful right to live. Healthcare is very important in our state. I used to say that most of the people of our state has to spend a lot of money. In other states, there is a drain of wealth from our state, because we have to go for so many healthcare to Assam and to other states. If we could have a proper healthcare, if we could open up a branch of Nigrim, maybe in other part of the district, this will go a long way toward helping our people, especially the poor. I do feel that India need to have a drug-free policy. The poor find very difficult even to get medicine. If we have a drug-free policy where medicine will be given for free for certain diseases, I do feel this will go a long way to ensuring that the people have that meaningful right to health. Right to health has been declared by the Supreme Court as a fundamental right. But this right till date does not get the proper enforceable. I do feel that free drug policy, especially to BPL and underprivileged people, will go a long way in ensuring that the people have a good health care. My dear friends, we also guaranteed to review and relook and revisit the impact of central land law and Central Forest Act into our state. The land law, especially the MMDR Act, is not compatible to the land tenure system that we have. That's why we find it very difficult in getting license in mining list. I don't believe in unregulated mining, but we believe that the law that we have must be in accordance with the land tenure system that we have. We have a different land tenure system comparable to the rest of India. If this is not respect, I do feel that our right on our land and resources is not respect. The Honorable Supreme Court has already declared that the minerals and the land belong to the individual and the clan and the community in the state of Meghalaya. So I do feel that we need to review and revisit how did MMDR Act, which clearly say that you need to lease your own mineral, your own land from the government who is not the owner of the land. This is something that we will try to relook and revisit. The facts that the President of India has not give an assent to the demand of the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly to exempt MMDR Act, it's something that we would like to pursue in this election. And if elected, we would like to have a proper discussion with the government of India to ensure that our land right is respected at the earliest. Last but not the least, my dear friends, we have a bigger problem. Each and every family in our society now has a biggest problem, and that biggest problem is how we challenging the rampant selling of illegal drug into the state of Meghalaya. If we look into this issue, yeah, let me finish with this few points. If we look on this issue, we know that most of the drugs, especially cocaine and heroin, has been transported from outside the state into our state. So we feel that we need to strengthen an anti-narcotic cell, especially to ensure that this drug who came from outside need to be stopped at all costs. Drug is a global problem. We would like to ensure that the external affairs and the government of India has to impose sanction on those countries who used to produce illegal drugs. And I do feel that if we could do this, we will see a much better future in our state. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sir Robert. Sir Robert has submitted his points very elaborately on the issues that he intends to take up should he come to power. The first and foremost and important point that he mentioned was secularism, the right to worship as a fundamental right. He also stressed on the common issues that have been discussed time and again on the inclusion of Khasi language in the 8th schedule, settlement of border dispute, preservation and conservation of the identity of the people. He did stress on unemployment as a big problem for the youth, even though our youth are very gifted and talented. He mentioned a very pertinent point on the implementation of the market intervention schemes to look at the benefit of the farmers and to ensure that they live a meaningful life. The last 2 points he mentioned about healthcare and the importance of introducing drug-free state. And lastly, he mentioned about the MMDR Act, which is not practical in our state. Thank you so much, sir. There's a saying that says, save the best for the last. I don't think I need to look at the ball anymore. We have now Sri Mariahom Kran. Sir Kran is retired IPS and is spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And since the party has not declared the name of its candidate, Sri Kran will be speaking on behalf of the party. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. The International Monetary Fund has declared that India will be a $6.9 trillion economy by 2028. The economy will cross $5 trillion by the year 2026. Fitch Ratings have raised India's growth forecast for 24-25 by 7%. This is the new India that we are looking at, which has been developed for the last 1 decade. Greetings from the Bharatiya Janata Party to all of you. But ngai ga jing kublai kamtam e principal jonga lady jonga Sankardev College, but ika faculty members junki kibala khot ingi ban yadon lang ne. As soon as our government took over in 2014, we recognized the urgent need to revamp and overhaul the system and processes to help India advance on the path of development. Right from spearheading the digital revolution to elimination of open defecation, India has achieved remarkable milestones under our new governance paradigm. We have addressed the inherited legacy of inefficiencies through simplification and rationalization of laws. Adopting a trust-based and responsive delivery machinery, ease of doing business reforms to unleash the potential of every sector. Contrary to the piecemeal delivery in the past, we have achieved saturation coverage for all deserving beneficiaries. We shifted the welfare focus from entitlement-based support to empowering individuals by integrating them into the formal sector. The initiation of the reform process started yielding positive results in the early years of our government by improving the investor climate and creating a favorable outlook for the economy. The industrialists who earlier shied or preferred to invest in foreign countries were enticed to come back and invest in his own country. And especially, the best part was that foreign direct investment increased in our country. Both domestic and foreign investors exhibit high optimism regarding India's growth potential, anticipating abundant opportunities as the economy expands. The Indian economy has gone through structural reforms that have strengthened the micro fundamentals of the economy. These resulted in India changing from the fragile 5 to the top 5 in just about a decade, as the economy was transformed into a more resilient avatar amidst a challenging global environment. The rise of the Indian economy in the last 10 years was unprecedented in spite of the obstacles of external origin, example, the pandemic, and the geopolitical disturbances. This has been manifested in the trajectory of the GDP, when in 2014, India was the 10th largest economy, and today, India is the 5th largest economy, and by the IMF projections, it is expected to be the 3rd largest economy another 2 to 3 years from now. Our government of the nation first was transform the quality of India's infrastructure and logistics ecosystem, which will be the key to investment and expand its presence in the global value chains. When our government, just to give an example, when our government took over in 2014, the rate of laying down of the national highway was 12 kilometers per day. Today it has increased by 2.3 times to 28 kilometers per day. That is the pace of development we are looking at. And the public welfare through empowerment and effective delivery. Empowerment through welfare has been the phrase of our government, prioritizing universal access to basic amenities and a participatory mission mode approach and actualizing this philosophy. Our government used technology as a vehicle for social empowerment. Our government has innovated the delivery infrastructure besides widening the social security net. The emphasis on entrepreneurship through Startup India, Stand Up India, large-scale provision of accessible credit through Mudra Yojana, unskilling of HHGs and loans to street vendors through the PM Swadnidhi, reflects our government's focus on empowering job creators from all sections of society. Another thoughtful policy, given the country's demography and occupation profile, is the accessibility of affordable social security scheme for the unorganized sector. Reform tax ecosystem and robust revenue growth has resulted in an increase in revenue collection. Far-reaching tax reforms of the past decade has put in place effective systems that have improved revenue collection and compliances. Looking back, or coming nearer home, the northeastern India. Just recently, Prime Minister Modi has laid down 56,000 crores just for the northeast. And Meghalaya is one of the states which will be benefited from that. They have also laid down 10,000 crores just for the industrial development of the northeast. And the central government has come up with a policy knowing fully well that many of the northeastern states and across the nation too is facing this drug problem among the youth. The Prime Minister has brought out a program called the Nasha Mukh Bharat Abhiyan, which will fight the drug menace. Our government, armed with political and policy stability, recognize the need to make tough decisions for the greater economic good of the country as a whole. Restoring dynamism in economy, optimism in our minds, and pride in our achievements was a task that was left for us to achieve. We accepted the challenge, recognizing the public life is about winning hearts, minds, and heads of the people, instilling in them confidence about the future and that of the children to commitment. Yet, we are not resting on our laurels. There are miles to go and mountains to scale before we see how much India has achieved, because by 2047, we want India to be not to be a developing country, but to be a developed country. A last question I want to ask you: why should you vote for the BJP? This is an extraordinary election where everyone knows who will be leading the party into 2024, even before the first ballot paper has been cast. I can ask anyone on the streets, everyone knows that the BJP is coming back to power. They always say, you can fool a person once, but you cannot fool a person twice. Can 80 crore people, electorate of this great nation of ours, be fooled 3 times? I doubt, and I'm very sure no. Why? Because each of these 80 crore people who will be bringing back the BJP to power, they know and they have seen what this party has done for the nation. And I hope that you all should be a part of that government. Would you like your member of parliament that you voted? Would you like him to be in the treasury bench or in the opposition? I leave it to you. And if you ask me, if I was a layperson, I would definitely say I want my MP that I voted, I want him to be in the treasury bench. And we as the state leaders here will ensure that this MP that you vote from the BJP, that he delivers. We will ensure that for you. And remember, BJP, in the last, when you brought out named the tickets for more than 100 candidates, 30 sitting MPs were not given the ticket again. Why? Because of non-performance. That is the beauty of this party. You may, being a daughter or being a son of a neta, a senior neta, will not help you. Being a sitting MP will not guarantee you for a ticket. Your performance will ensure you that you get a ticket. So we will ensure that an MP that you have voted, that he performs so that he can come again in the next term as your MP. And I remember, I will just read through this quotation. We should measure the prosperity of a nation not by the number of millionaires that we have, but by the absence of poverty, the prevalence of health, the efficiency of the public schools, and the number of people who can do and read worthwhile books. And this is what the BJP will deliver to you if you consider that the BJP is the best party for you. I've seen the other panelists talking about secular. Probably we will have to debate a different session probably on secular, because I have a lot of grounds to defend that BJP is very much a secular party. Thank you very much, and wish that you also become a part of this governance which will be coming up 2024, which will be led by the BJP. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Your points are well taken. Sir Kran has spoken elaborately on a few of the things that the party would like to take up. And number one, he mentioned about the benefits of foreign direct investment in the country. He did mention about how the Indian economy has expanded drastically over the years, and they aim to make the Indian economy the largest economy. He also mentioned about technology and how they have expanded technology to look at entrepreneurship, to promote entrepreneurship like the Startup India. One of the points that he also mentioned was introducing of social security scheme to tackle unorganized sectors. Then he mentioned about the very pertinent point, and that is tackling drug menace, which is on an increasing rate in our state. And then lastly, he submitted that the selection or the allotment of tickets is properly scrutinized, and the allotment of tickets will be based on performance. Thank you so much, sir. Can we have a big round of applause for all the speakers, please? To sum up, we will allot 2 minutes each to all the speakers to have the last word. We will start off with Dr. Lon Pakma. 2 minutes, sir.
Well, thank you. I hope I will complete within 2 minutes. I have the website, which probably I have already mentioned, which is www.lakhonkama.com. I have elaborated detail my mission. 13 points are there. That includes education, health, employment, CUET centers, and all. 2-3 points that I will stress. First, when we say education, it is to be focused on primary and the middle school education, where government sector schools has to be strengthened. The other aspect is, what do we do with those who are poor? Say, for example, taxi driver, the street vendors, or those who are daily laborers. If anything happens to them, what will happen to their family? I have an idea that if anything happens to the bread earner of the family, they will be taken care of. There will be an education fund which will be created with the philanthropic contribution, and also whatever an MP can, if you elect me, there will be an education fund to support poor school children if their parents cannot sustain. That will be one mission. The other very important part is we will have to have a policy where housing has to be provided for all poor, particularly in rural as well as urban. How it will be done, that is important, because we do see that with time, landlessness is too much, particularly among the tribal population. I think we have to address this issue very, very strictly. The last, or rather second last, I would say, is that we have to have a platform. Now, yes, we will have agendas 13, 14, 15, some overlapping with different candidates, different parties. But one which I have kept, and is one which is called Beyond Religion, a platform for real societal issues. Because in our individual church and mandirs and masjids and wherever we go and do our prayers in churches and so on, we all discuss different issues. There is never a platform where all religious leaders can come and discuss societal issues. Forget about the religious issue for that moment. This is going to be my endeavor. If you elect me, there will be a platform which will be called as Beyond Religion, where religious leaders will discuss issues that concerns every aspect of our survival. That includes from unemployment to education to failure in the healthcare system to drug menace, alcohol menace, and so on and so forth, whatever that can be encompassed, so that we listen
so
to
much,
each
sir.
other's views. So that is what I would put as my take, in addition to whatever I have said in my YouTube channel and also in my website. Hopefully people will buy what I'm trying to sell, because this is something that I have thought over a long, long period of time. And I hope people will see it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, and all the very best. Can we have Shri Manuel Badwar, please? So you have 2 minutes.
Just to sum up what I had said earlier, and probably a few more things that has come out, it's just that from a perspective of the Congress, the points that we had discussed earlier, the 5 points, what is critical is, as Kran has also mentioned, that the economy is growing very well. My summation is that, yes, the economy is growing very well. There's no denying about that. 6% growth is a good growth. But you know, a 6% growth in an economy which is 3 trillion and a 2% growth in an economy which is 25 trillion, and absolute numbers, you'll know the difference. And number 2 is that we're saying that the economic growth is not trickling down to the minutest level. It's not trickling down to the bottom of the pyramid. And that is more critical as to what from the perspective of what I see. And that's probably why, from the Congress perspective also, we are looking at the fundamentals. We're looking at things which is probably like, NREGA. Currently, people are getting, especially the rural belt, is getting employment for 100 days at 100 rupees per day. We're saying that at least we should increase that to around 400. And that is, again, one of the promises we're talking about, at least rural employment. So we're trying to reach out to the basics. We're trying to reach out to the bottom of the pyramid. And I believe that the Congress had always been like that. It's about social welfare. And we have an economy to back that up. The revenue is there in the country. And I believe so that more or less time has come in which the economic benefit should trickle down to the basic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, and all the very best. Can we have the next speaker, Dr. Ricky? So you have 2 minutes.
I have just 2 things to say. One, the strength of this nation lies in its diversity. And this is something that, as a party, the Voice of the People Party, and I believe each and every citizen of this country would stand with this. Our strength is the unity in spite of this diversity. This must never be allowed to be disturbed. It must remain, and rather we should respect each other, no matter what. The other point is that, yes, we've been having many policies, many programs, many schemes, but if these great schemes, these great policies, if at the time of its implementation it's not guided, it's not driven by the principle, of moral and ethics, then I'm afraid to say that nothing good will come out. As they say, a bad policy, if implemented well, guided by moral and ethics, sound ethics, is much better than the best of policy, but not at the time of implementation, if it is done so without any care for moral and ethics. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. So can we have the next speaker, Shri Robert June Karjarin?
I would like to conclude by saying this. I would like to appeal to the people of Shillong Parliamentary seat to go and vote. If you don't vote, you will have a right to complain. Please vote reasonably. Please vote based on issue and manifesto that we as party and candidate will offer you. Secondly, I would like to appeal, when you go to vote, don't cast your vote based on religion affiliation. Don't cast your votes based on from which area or from which village you are in. What's important is that we vote responsibly, and whoever is your MP in the next 5 years, he must hear you, he must raise your voice. Your voice must be heard in the parliament. That is the most important thing that we can do. Last but not the least, RDA will promote you, protection, preservation, and promotion. And with this full vote, we hope that you will support us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, and all the very best. We have the last speaker, Shri M. Kran. Over to you, sir.
I'll just react to what has been said by the earlier speakers regarding that the benefits do not reach the level that is to the last mile. Let me clarify here that the BJP government has brought out, whether any of you know about the JAM Trinity, that's the Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, and the mobile. These three, they connect directly to the beneficiary. And just an example, the LPG subsidy, through this system, we have been able to reduce 24% leakages. And in the last couple of years, 34 lakh crores has been distributed to 1,167 crore beneficiaries. So this is the kind of government that we are looking at. It's a direct transfer to the beneficiary. You do not have to go to a BDO, you don't have to go to any government official. And the second thing is that the earlier speakers have been talking a lot about being secular. Let me remind you that recently Maulana Wahibuddin, an Islamic scholar who studied about the Muslim religion, he was awarded the Padma Vibhushan. Now, do you doubt? Now, if the BJP government was not secular, would he have been awarded? Ali Makta Fan, Said Mauzami Ali, and Muzaffar Hussain, they got the Padma Bhushan. Are we not secular? Are we looking at religion? Muhammad Shami got the Arjuna Award for cricket. And in none of these schemes of the BJP have they mentioned the religion. None of the schemes have they said, please indicate your religion. The only things they said, you will be identified whether you are a BPL family or not, or whether you are entitled to this benefit or not. And we, as the workers of the BJP, we are being asked to go into the field to meet the people. And they have never said, you meet the BJP supporters. You go to this village or here, like here in Meghalaya, we have only Panthoram Kra and Laban. You go to Panthoram Kra and Laban. No. You have to go to the last village in the border areas, meet the people there, irrespective of whether they voted for the BJP or not, but they are entitled to the scheme, ensure that they get the scheme. That is what our government does. And here we are talking about secularism. We are talking that the party is it's bipartisan. So I think so these are all fallacies. These are all, from the opposition side. When you look at what the earlier speakers had said, none of them have doubt about the development of the country as a whole. At least I'm happy that at least you give the credit to who it is due to. At least they have all agreed on one thing, that development, we have seen how development and how India has progressed. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. And all the very best. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end. We will now open the floor for questions. Okay. We have the first question.
My name is Rudy Vajri. I call myself a concerned common citizen. Now, the The first thing I would like to just thank, I feel prouder today to be a member of the governing body of Sankardev College, that the principal and the team has been able to bring these candidates and the representatives here together, and which is, I really, for the first time, I experience it here. Thank you very much. Now, my question is, before I make, it's one question only, it's a brief question, but I just want to make one observation. Now, you see, because in a state like Meghalaya, a lot of things that happen nationally impact on the states. As it is, 70% of our resources come from the center. Now, again, one notable thing about the BJP government is the kind of radical, irreversible decisions they have taken. Beginning with demonetization, Article 370, the CAA, and these IPC, CRPC, Indian Independence Act, and so on and so forth. Now, my question is maybe hypothetical, but may not be also hypothetical. It's better to be prepared for it, because some of us are very, we talk about protection, which is fine. We need protection in many ways. My question is, you see, in my career, my own colleagues all through, one of the resentment they have against the system is the reservations. Now, with the kind of radical decision this government has taken in Delhi, if these reservations from now on is based on economic criteria, some of you have talked about more and more reservations, how to implement the reservation. If the decisions is taken for jobs and other things based on economic criteria, what are you prepared for it, and what is your view about it? Thank you.
Sir Kharkrat, would you like to answer that?
First and foremost, Sir has just mentioned about CA and the other acts which have just come up. The first thing is that the central government has clearly stated that Meghalaya will not be part of the CA. Now, if it has any intention that it will bulldoze through, because we are a very small state, they could have done through the CA. But the fact that they realize and to recognize the small population that we have, and that we still need the protection, that's why they have given this reservation for us, or maybe exemption for us from the CA. So similarly, all other acts also, the government in Delhi is well aware that we still need to continue with the reservations. And I can assure you that none of these reservations will be diluted, or whether they will be removed from the what we are enjoying right now. Thank you.
Well, I think I'll just give a supplementary question to our esteemed representation of BJP. I have this question. Yes, I have seen the CAA rules. It says the 6 scheduled areas are exempted. That means most of the tribal area northeast region are exempted. Now my question to him is, he being part of this government, the MDA2 government, which they are working with NPP, who is missing today, and of course UDP, the HSPDP, naturally BJP, and so on. Can you, because I as a person, I'm not afraid of CA, frankly speaking, but can you reassure us, can your chief minister give in writing to say that CAA will not be implemented in 6 scheduled area, let's say the whole of Meghalaya? Because that is the assurance that we need. Yes, we saw the rule, but because you are also part of the NDA government in the center, can you, through you or through your government who is running the MDA government here, give the public who doesn't know much about the CAA, give us in writing by the chief minister, saying that CAA will not be implemented in Meghalaya. If you do so, then we buy your words. Otherwise, I have serious reservation vis-a-vis, because the NPP MP candidate from Shillong seat is opposing it. The NPP current MP supported CAA bill in 2019. Now, I think anyone can guess what will she do if she's elected and sent to the parliament. I believe she will join the bandwagon and support. And hence, I have very, very serious reservation to this. That is one aspect. Other aspect of demonetization, etc., I think enough has been said. Those were all jumlas that I considered from the side of the government. Those jumlas has not worked because I know demonetization was done to capture UP. It was done. 99.99% of the money came back. Where is the black money? We got the jumla in 2014 that 15 lakh sabka account mein aayega. We never saw that. So we don't buy. I mean, these jumlas I don't buy. And that's what I said. I want to say this in the parliament. And this is where it is important because see, jumlas are done.
Sir, please come to the question.
So this is what I was just trying to give the supplementary question that please reassure us as a gathering here who is learned enough to carry this message back home to those who doesn't understand that you are going to exam Meghalaya. Give us in writing. The day you give in writing, I will really thank you. Otherwise, I have serious reservation. Thank you.
With all the powers bestowed on the Chief Minister, I don't think he can allow or he can disallow something which is already there in the Act. The CA clearly spells out that 6 scheduled areas have been exempted. And even if our Honorable Chief Minister wants to implement CA in Meghalaya also, he'll not be able to do it because the Act does not allow him. So I don't think so, a response or a commitment or assurance on the Chief Minister will do any help or will not help because it's already there in the Act. And second thing, what Sir has just mentioned about Jumla, I think so nothing official has come from the BJP that 15 lakhs will be credited to the respective bank accounts. That has come out on the social media and nothing official has come from the government as such. Thank you.
If I may be allowed to supplement to what Kran said, the Home Minister has clearly said that the government decision to exempt these regions reflects a delicate balance between national policy and regional identity. This strategic move acknowledges the diversity and uniqueness of the northeastern states, fostering a harmonious coexistence between national and regional interests. So the Home Minister has given an assurance that CA will be exempted for all the northeastern states, including Meghalaya, which falls under the 6th schedule. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mr. B. Mwar, retired Chief Engineer from MECL, Civil. So actually, I'm also a member of the governing body of the Sankardev College. So actually, I have got 2 issues here, which all the speakers has not been mentioned. The one of the ISO that at least everyone knows that what we are facing currently right now in the state of Meghalaya, that is the traffic jam. When everything in the world moves so fast, how can you talk about the economy, the moving of the state economy when you have to spend 2 hours from Laban to Umbling to my residence? So that is the big question. Nobody has answered. Nobody has speak about the traffic jam. There are a lot of provision is there. I have been in Thailand. Just last year, you'll be surprising. In such a congested city, they build a multi-layers flyover. Why not the same thing cannot be done here? Then there are many provisions where you can have underground tunnel. I have seen tunnel in Delhi during the time construction. There are many things that we can do, but nobody has spoke out. And the second part perhaps you might reflect back when the BJP government come in 2014. So if you find out they have, what happened, reinvent the ministry from 133 to 67 ministry. Out of 67 ministry, if you look at the thrust area of the BJP during that time, water supply is in the 3rd priority of the government. What I am surprising to see here, I have been moving all the 3 states of the Northeast Sikkim, Nagaland, Kohima, everywhere, you will not find people are standing in the queue in the street for collecting water. How much time we are spending in collecting water? And sorry to say, within the urban town of Shillong, not even sufficient drinking water is made available to the citizen. If you go, there's a policy. You please go visit the NEC Vision Document 2020. You can see there are also another policy matters regarding drinking water and many other states, many other policy from different ministry. Government of India, actually what happened, has kept provision 10% gross budgetary support for the Northeast from each and every ministry. And there are 55 ministries where we can draw that 10%. Perhaps the candidate must reflect how much of that 10% has come to the Northeast. These are the questions I will report on. Thank you.
Ma'am, can I? So I just want to add on to, first and foremost, the CAA. I'll get to you, sir, about water and traffic jam and so on and so forth. As far as CAA is concerned, I feel what Sir question was very potent and relevant, I think, because CAA will definitely impact us. So when they say that Meghalaya is exempted, it's not that the full of Meghalaya is exempted in the first place. So the NRC is also going on in places like Assam and so on and so forth. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to be rendered as illegal. Now, they're going to find safe havens for them to run to. They will not obviously return to their respective countries. Meghalaya does not have legislations in place to ensure that at least we are protected, especially given the fact that we are a minority state. We don't have the ILP, we don't have just about any law to protect us. So that's very, very critical, and I think it is high time that the legislators, especially of the state, push some legislation or the other to protect our state. That is number one. Number two, why I always question the secularity in terms of the BJP. I mean, in which country in this world, forget about anything, that declares you a citizen on the basis of religion? And that's a very important question we need to answer. You might call it secular, you might call it anything, but then you have to fill up a form, and the form will actually ask you which religion you are. And if you don't belong to a certain religion, you don't have the right. So anyway, that's just a point to tell you that secularism itself is under question. The other point, sir, like how you had mentioned just now, that when it comes to traffic jam and water, that is not available, especially traffic jams in places like Meghalaya. See, we are always known to be a state in which we are deficit. A deficit in the sense we are only dependent on central funds. Now, it depends on the center and the government that is in power there to decide as to how much resources go to which state. For instance, we all know, for instance, that Karnataka is a very rich revenue state. But for every 1 rupee that Karnataka gets or gives to the center, they get back only like what, 70 paise or lesser than that. But then you have another state which is probably very favorable to the government. And for every rupee that they contribute to the center, they get back 3 times that or 2 times that. So it depends on exactly what is the prerogative of the government in the center. Building infrastructure, as you said, multi-level flyovers that we see in various countries, it's very much possible to decongest. It just requires a lot of resources, a lot of out-of-the-box thinking in terms of the government per se as well, and the legislators that actually represent the public. You need capable legislators who are able to think, and able to think at least 10 or 15 years ahead. So that's also very critical. And as far as basic water is concerned, I think that it's a good scheme, the JJM scheme, but then it needs to be implemented much, much better than it is. And I think it's just the first phase. I have this firm belief that while the rest of the country is developing so fast, we in Northeast especially are being left behind. And I think whichever government comes in power, and has enough visibility and view to at least do the changes that is required.
Hello. Yeah, can I, regarding the question that Ba asked about the traffic congestion, may I ask from this house, how many of us who are, who come from the rural areas? Can you just raise up your hands, please? I'm one of them. There are quite a lot here. You see what there's a simple solution actually I see. Giving an example. Suppose there are 100 villages, around Shillong. And in each of these villages, there are 2 patients who, when they go to the sub-center, they don't get any medical help. They go to a PHC, nothing is there. They go to a CHC, almost nothing is there. And so they have to come to Shillong. So if there are 100 villages, and from each of these villages, there are 2 patients, you're expected to see 200 vehicles coming to Shillong just to get some treatment from hospitals in and around Shillong. This is the sorry state of affairs in our state after 52 years. You go to, because since I stay in the, away from Shillong, it's really pathetic. They have to come all the way. So, this is something which can be, is our solutions, because they're always a solution to any problem. But it just requires whether really, how committed you are, how honest you are to solve these problems.
Okay, just 2 quick points on CAA. I will not go into the legality of its validity. Article 14 is being debated, whether it complies Article 14 as far as the right to equality is concerned. But CAA, I have 2 quick points. Maybe the friend from BJP can explain. There are 2 important points. It says you have to enter, you might have entered India before 31st of December 2014. You don't have to produce any travel document. Just you need to say, I have been prosecuted. I'm from Pakistan, Afghanistan, or Bangladesh. I'm a Hindu, I'm a Christian, I'm a Sikh, I'm a Jain, I'm a Parsi, I'm a Buddhist. If you say so, that's enough. You have to just produce one ID that you belong to this country. I'm saying 2 things which are very, very serious. Why? I'm least bothered about the other aspect of CAA. What I'm bothered is, in today's time, our young generations are not having jobs. How come you're allowing people to come and become citizen and compete for the least available job that we have? That is one serious objection that I have to see. The other is, what guarantee you have that tomorrow, let's say I'm Muslim. I stay in Bangladesh, I save my beard, I clean my head, I put a sindoor here, and I say that I have entered India before 31st of December 2014. And he might be representing a militant organization. He may be from Afghanistan, he may be from Pakistan, he just needs an ID to say that, tell me how difficult it is to get an ID of a Bangladesh or a Afghanistan or a Pakistan. You can sit in India and get a passport done illegally. And hence, there are serious problems. We are actually compromising the security of this country because you don't have any check and balance. Vis-a-vis who is entering this country, you are simply saying, declare yourself, you have been prosecuted by a Muslim country. You need not be a Muslim, everybody else is welcome. What guarantee is that that person who comes to India and say, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Buddhist, but he is a militant organization leader who will secretly leak the intel of this country to the neighboring militant groups, whether it is based in Afghanistan, Pakistan, or Bangladesh is least trouble these days. But you have a serious neighbors who are always looking to harm this beautiful country of ours. There is no way you can check and balance. I have read this CAA rule time and again to see, show me one rule that will provide that check and balance. It's not there. Coming to the second point, which is Sir has raised, water reservoir. You know, indeed, I have written an article few months or few years back on how to solve the water crisis of Shillong. I buy my water by myself, so I think if an MP candidate is buying water, I think you don't have to come and tell me that water is an issue. It's a big, big issue to all of us, particularly if you are in city. Yes, Jal Jeevan Mission has tried to nullify some of these, but there are ways and means, and I fully agree with my fellow Congress representative that making flyovers and tunnels, this requires your mental preparation and as well as the financial strength. This government, where all of them are part of it, bearing maybe Congress and perhaps me and of course BBP, they are all part and parcel of this government. This government like to spend money of 15 crore, 23 crore in festivities. That requires 3 days time or 5 days time, done deal. And you feed them with what? I have seen the sports, the Meghalaya sports, you even give them kurkure, give them samosa, and we expect them to become Olympian one day. Somebody has to convince me. I have serious problem to this. But they will not build one bridge over the Umyam Lake for last, how many years? I don't know, expiry date is over. Now we are repairing the bridge. And all of us who travel face this challenge. My question to this government, and of course the Congress government earlier is, why you didn't keep one alternative bridge 10, 15, 20 years ago? Goa, you must have traveled, most of you. We have n numbers of bridges there. Roads, railway, everything goes there. Two airports there. We have nothing. And that's what I said. Unless we change our mindset, and for the reservoir, before I digress a little bit, I have indeed in that article, yes, I will just finish it. For the article, for the water reservoir crisis, I said, we get plenty of rainfall. Why not you make reservoirs to places like Dainthalen area, where all our water will just pass to Bangladesh? And this area doesn't have any crop, it cannot be grown because this area is totally unfertile as far as the crops growth is concerned. Why not make reservoirs there, channelize that water to cities and towns where it is necessary? You only need will, and of course you need money. And if these two are combined, I think that problem can also be solved. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
We have the next question.
Excuse me. Yeah. I think I should come out on CEA first. Yeah. Thank you so much. I've been fighting against CAB and CA. I think I have every right to comment on this. First and foremost, I do agree with the Congress point of view that CAA is anti-secular. But let me remind you, sir, that in 23, during a debate on CAB, Dr. Manmohan Singh, who's still a Congress at that point of time, said this: after the partition of our country, the minority in the country like Bangladesh have faced persecution, and it's our moral obligation that if circumstances force unfortunate people to seek refuge in our country, our approach to granting citizenship to them should be more liberal. So who proposed CAB first is the Congress government. It is a Congress leader who proposed this anti-secular legislation in India, and it's BJP who fulfill it. So if we all against CAA, I think these two parties should not be voted again. And that is a fact. And what is more harmful than CAA? And what is more harmful than CAA is the Indo-Papal Peace Treaty, where all the Nepali can be a citizen of India. I think we have how many? 3-4 crore Nepali. That can be CAA. We have been. This is more harmful than CAA. So our stand of views is very clear. CAA is anti-secular, proposed by anti-secular party like Congress, fulfilled by anti-secular party like BJP, and then we as regional party has stand forth from day one that we are against CAA and we want its full exemption in the state of Meghalaya. So that is our stand on CAA. Secondly, when it comes to traffic congestion, I think it's very much linked to CAA. When we already face a lot of problem in the city, and traffic condition is quite linked to population explosion, so why should we bring more people? And how to address traffic, I do feel that it's high time for Meghalaya to start developing district headquarters and civil subdivision. We from Mokarwat has to come all the way to Shillong for healthcare, for education, for job. Because why? We do not have proper healthcare in our own district, in our own backyard. We have to come all the way to sell our products from Joai, from Riwar. Everyone come to Yodo to sell their product because we don't have a market intervention in rural area. So it's high time that we have to look in the rural area. The moment you bring development in the rural area, people coming into the city will be automatically checked. Secondly, when it comes to development, I do feel that we need to have a proper city plan. We need to have a proper city plan. Look at Shillong, it become a city by default. It's not by plan. So I do feel that let's put our trust that the new Shillong will be a proper plan, will be a proper city, where traffic congestion will be addressed. And the most hurdle part when it comes to traffic congestion, maybe not the scheme, but the problem is land acquisition. It's land acquisition. I mean, to be freely, if you start prepare. Committee participation in address this issue. And last but not the least, when it comes to water problem, yes, we are talking about GJM, but what most important thing is that I think it's high time that we should protect our mineral resources. Without the source, it's pointless to have pipeline and all. So it's high time that we need to have a policy to ensure, and I do feel that the Catchment Protection Act has to be implemented in letter and spirit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to have more questions from the youth, please. So I'll come back to you. Yeah.
A very good afternoon to you all. Moderator, you know, the thing is, I think most of the questions are targeted at the BGP. I think so it's just fair that I should be responding to it. Can I respond to it? Can I respond? Yeah.
A very good afternoon to you all. My name is Nightstar Wanyang. I'm from 4th semester, Political Science Department. I'm from Sankardev College. And I stand here not to put any question to you. Don't be afraid, don't be scared. I stand here to put you some suggestions, whether you will accept or not, even though I am still a student, even though I am still a child. So, my questions to all the candidates, my suggestion, not the questions, my suggestion to all the candidates, if it's like this, if one of you will win this election, if one of you will become the member of parliament, from my side, I request you to please don't go there, I mean in the parliament, with simply sitting or sleeping. Please go there. You have to speak the issue of our state, especially for the Khasi and Jantia people. You have to speak the issue, like the inner light permit, the inclusion of the Khasi and Garo in the schedule of the Constitution of India. And the boundary dispute between Meghalaya and Assam is still pending till today. What I request you to please raise this question in the parliament, because the life and death of our beloved state, Meghalaya state, is the power of you, the MP, the member of parliament. So, from my side, I request you to please try to avoid the hypocrisy also. Hypocrisy, then the corruption also. I'll try to request you, please try to avoid this. But another one also, if as you promised during the election campaign or even in the election manifesto, you say that you will do everything for us. As you promised in the election campaign, everything. Please do that and make them all success. Please don't just promise them. Please don't promise if you cannot do. Promise on you only that you can do. So I'll take my seat. I know that all of you are educated. So it's not difficult to you to speak to raise discussion in the parliament. So before I take my seat, I forgive you all. I forgive if I speak about words, if I made you a mistake, if I make a mistake for you. So with these few words, I think, thank you. And the last one before I take a seat, as the word says, sometimes the word says, the child is the father of man. So thank you with these words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Your points are well taken. Thank you so much. Can we have more suggestions, please?
Can I first reply to the earlier questions?
Sure, sir.
Okay. First and foremost, what Sir has mentioned about the traffic congestion in Shillong, I wish 2023 the BJP would have led the government. By now you would have seen a flyover starting. And I wish, if not to that extent, I wish that we would have got 12 MLAs like our friends from the UDP. You would have seen the kind of construction that would have happened. As much as you appreciate what has happened in Guwahati and other places of Assam, the same thing you would have seen here. That doesn't mean that because this is not being led by the BJP, that's why no money is being pumped in here. Ask and it shall be given, knock and it shall be open. Now if the state government doesn't ask for the kind of funds that can be given to the central government, now what does the central government do? You see, the thing is, I'll just give you one example. A particular hospital which is being run by some religious institution had approached us for funds amounting to about 45-50 crores. That was almost 1 year back before the MLA election. And we took it up with the central government and they assured that it will be sanctioned. Just before, I think so about a month, 2 months earlier, I met them. I said, what has happened? You have not got back to us. And they said it's still lying with the planning department and state government. Now, if that's that is the pace that we are working, if our state government is working, what do you expect the central government to do when even the papers have not landed up on the table? So what I'm trying to say is that if we had our own government here, then that is the pace of development that you will see. Second thing, regarding this CAA threat to the religious and all the kind of things and all, you know, the thing is, probably most surprising thing you'd find later on, that you might be having Khasis from Bangladesh applying for citizenship here. That might be the most surprising thing later. Because the only place that it is exempted here is 1 square kilometer, which is included in the CA, is 1 square or 2 square kilometers in a municipality area, which is very, very small. I can give you an assurance that you will not have anyone being registering from Meghalaya. And in all the other states, you see, no one is stopping anyone from applying for citizenship. Anyone from any other religions, many of the people who are against the CAA are people of the Muslim religion. No one is stopping them from applying. CAA is just a fast-track mode of applying for citizenship. They can definitely apply citizenship with any of the present laws that we have. So I don't see any threat. And with 130 crore people, couple of lakhs, I don't see how it'll be a threat to our country. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Since we are running out of time, we will take the last question.
Hello. Good morning, everyone present here. My name is Bartley. I'm from St. Edmund's College, Department of Political Science. So I have a concern I want to address right now. It's regarding India being a parliamentary form of a democratic institution. So recently, 146 MPs were suspended from the Lok Sabha, and all of them were members of the opposition party. So there's a point of concern raised here is, since India follows the essence of a democratic form and institution, so the opposition is an integral part of the machinery of the state of India. So I appeal to the future member of parliament from from amongst you that even being in the opposition party, a huge voice is echoed from that bench of being the opposition. And the Treasury bench is not the only bench that defines what a democracy is. It's the opposition that defines what a democracy is. There has to be an opposition to raise issues, to raise concerns. So that's my appeal. And yeah, that is the only suggestion and a short question I have. Thank you.
Yes, yes. May I reply to the concern raised by the youth over there?
Please.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the concern raised. You see, what is the biggest problem right now in the state of India, in India as a nation? Now India has slowly become from a true democracy to an electoral autocracy. This is the biggest problem. I mean, the people will choose the MP, but at the end of the day, after the election, the people has very less say when it comes to governance. That's why RDA, on my first maiden speech, we have already made it clear that if you vote us, we will ensure that the government of India need to have a pre-legislation consultation provision in the Constitution of India, which means any bill before you bring in the parliament, you need to at least consult the people. That is the first thing. Secondly, when you're talking about suspension of MP, the statement given by the spokesperson from the BJP has made it very clear that if you do not vote for BJP, you will not get development. Is that something that we will accept? Just because we don't vote for BJP, it doesn't make us a second-class Indian. We need development because we deserve development. You cannot put development at a gunpoint. You need to respect the mandate of the people. If the people of Meghalaya give you 2 seats, be happy with that. Don't say that if you do not give 12 seats, you will not get development. It's high time that we need to depoliticize development. How can we accept this? I mean, how come development should be given? It's not only the BJP supporter paying tax. We are also paying tax. We are also paying GST. Our tax also is given to the government of India. You have to give development based on reasonable ground. You cannot politicize development. I think this is very important. We need to understand this. We all paying tax. All our tax is given to the government of India. And the government of India, I do feel that when it comes to development, you don't go party-wise. You give development to people who deserve it and to area who need it. That is the second thing. And last but not the least, I do feel that it is high time for India democracy to really reach into that standard where each and every members of parliament do have good quality time to air their views, to air their opinion. And I strongly believe that we need to reform our democracy, and our democracy need to have policy like pre-legislation program and depoliticize of development. This is where we will be improve our democracy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. This is the last question.
I am the president of the governing body of this college. So first of all, I really thank you all for your physical presence here and for accommodating our requests. And also I'm thankful to all the students for being here. And we know that we have been challenged, we have been encouraged. So now we really admire for all what you have presented and what we do want to see. Things to implement. Because when we come to the real implementation, I have seen that nothing, I mean, I don't know how to say in percentage, but very, very low. So, in fact, we know that like education and agriculture, they are the main factors for the overall development of the country and of the state. But being the teacher, I have a very bad experience, so to say, because I remember very well that how I correlate this education and agriculture. Being an educationist and researcher, we have tried to do something for the state and with all our little knowledge. Because I remember when I applied one project, that establishment of critical limits in the micronutrients in rice soils and plant of Meghalaya, because we know that the yield of rice in Meghalaya compared to the other states is very, very low. So we are trying our best with all our knowledge to implement this, and I applied this one. And also I have sent the proposal to the government. But for so long, till now, they have not returned the proposal to me. And later on, okay, I could do something else from other funding agencies. But I wish that since we are here as the governing body, we want that our teachers are encouraged so that they can put the best effort and to uplift the students for their knowledge. And because we know that if the government, they have got like the science and technology cell, in fact, they are willing to surrender the money instead of giving to the teachers as a minor research project. So that's what we really admire for all these things what you have presented, but we do really want to see the implementation of all this. Thank you so much.
Just to respond to my good friend, candidate from UDP. Sir, I think so you have not listened between the lines of what I've said in my speech and also my subsequent reply. I did say in my speech that the BJP central leadership has given us a task that we have to ensure that we go to each and every household, especially the low-income group, to ensure that they get the development schemes which has been given from Delhi, irrespective of the fact whether they voted for the BJP party or not. I was very clear on that. And second thing is that I also said, when I replied to Sir's comment about the traffic, not that I say that we don't have 12 MLAs, that's why we're not getting money from Delhi. It's not that. What I'm trying to say is that if our people were there, then they would have to do as per the requirement from Delhi, and they will have to produce results. Like I said in my early speech, 30 MPs were not given the MP ticket for the simple reason because they were not producing results on the ground. That we have to submit our report card. Now, if 12 of our MLAs have been voted, like I just mentioned it to UDP, just comparing with you, I'm telling you, if we don't deliver, then we have to exit ourselves. So what I'm trying to say is not that because we don't have 12 MLAs or because we're not running the government here, that's why the BJP government is not giving us central assistance. It's not that. What I'm trying to say is that we had our own people, we would have been able to task them with all these developmental activities in the state.
Can I, Madam, I'll just make a quick response to what you said. I think I fully agree what you said because being in university, I know that the focus of this government is not on strengthening science and technology, particularly in university system. Day by day, money is being reduced as far as projects are concerned. And I think crop yield and agriculture and linking it to how you can enhance the productivity and all other aspects of science, because science is the basis of our advancement.
We'll have to conclude.
So I'll just stop it. Yeah. So, Madam, what I'm trying to say is that if I get a chance, definitely we'll say that you must increase funding on science and technology, particularly when it comes to agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all the speakers. Let's give a big round of applause to Sir Dr. Pakma, Sir Kran, Sir Ricky Sinkon, Sir Manuel Badwar, Karin, and all of you for being here to actively participate. I wish we could extend this time more since there's so many questions that you all want to ask, but due to the time, we are not able to continue so. Once again, I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming here and being a part of this very good and productive program. And like one of the speakers has correctly said, please vote and please vote the right candidate. Thank you so much. We have come to the close.
Hello again, everyone. We now come to the end of the program, and I hope that everyone present here today have benefited and enjoyed a lot about the thought-provoking debates deliberations, and interactions. I also believe that we have gathered insights on the various issues and important matters of the day. And finally, I wish all the candidates the very best in the upcoming Lok Sabha elections 2024. So believing that each one of you is working hard with the best intentions for the welfare of each one of us and the interest of the state as a whole. So now I shall call upon Dr. Embla for giving the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our esteemed candidates on the dais, special invitees, President of the governing body and members, our principal, faculty members of the college, and all the students. So on behalf of the Department of Political Science and the IQSC, I take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks. At the outset, let me first extend my sincere gratitude to all the candidates from Shillong Parliamentary seat who, in spite of their busiest schedule and other priorities, yet all have warmly consented and spared their valuable time to be here in Sankardev College and share their thoughts, stands, positions, their principles, ideologies of their respective party, and highlight various pressing issues concerning the people and the state in the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. We also appreciate our candidates for freely conversing and interacting with the audience. We convey our best wishes, good health, and pray that all the candidates will continue to serve the people of the state and shoulder the responsibility in different capacity in the future. Dr. Maxwell Lingdor, thank you, sir, for accepting our request to moderate this interactive session. We look forward that you will continue to be with us in the future programs. We would like to thank our special invitees, President and members of the governing body, students from different colleges, institutes, and universities. Thank you for carving out time to attend this interactive program. The audience, thank you so much for your queries and constructive engagement. To our principal, Madam, your constant support and encouragement have always inspired us to move forward. We are very grateful for your guidance and thank you for delivering the welcome speech. We thank the members of the media, both print and electronic, who are here with us, providing coverage and report for today's program through their news channel and papers. To the faculty members of the Department of Political Science, Ms. D.S. Lingdor, Ms. E.M. Tariang, who also chaired today's program, and IQSC coordinator, Sir M.S. Wajri, and his team, thank you for taking the initiative to organize this program. This platform has facilitated face-to-face conversation between the candidates and the electorates of Shillong Parliamentary seat. I also thank the team of rapporteurs, Ms. Iba and Ms. Piba, social media committee of Sankardev College, members of student council, and the non-teaching staff for their assistance. Finally, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and appreciations to each and everyone who have involved and contribute and assist us in making this program successfully. Thank you, and I have one more announcement, okay? I request to all the YouTubers who are here that we humbly request them to refrain, okay, from uploading the videos of this program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now the program is over. However, here's an important announcement. All the guest speakers, moderator, invitees, and teachers are requested to kindly proceed to room number 21 as lunch is going to be served. Students are requested to kindly be seated here as refreshments will be served here in this auditorium. Have a nice day ahead.
We'll have one group photo